Hello and welcome to another edition of TSL Talk. First of all, we'd like to make an apology for our half a dozen viewers out there who missed our preview to last week's round. Unfortunately, we were having trouble with TSL Talk's Commodore 64, but now we've got all that sorted and we're in the race to the finals with just 2 rounds to go, Adam.
Yes, look, it's another big round of results. It's left things very interesting too, as you said, 2 weeks to go, and it's looks set for a very exciting finish.
And there was a big game on Friday night at KG5. Glenorchy just got over North Hobart by 10 points. It was a crucial game. It's been an amazing turnaround for Glenorchy. We've changed the coach and they've won 2 in a row now.
Yeah, look, it's always funny, you know, you don't like to think it takes a change of coach to sort of turn things around, but how often do you see it happen? And, you know, I always felt they might have had a bit of an edge given they had the week off to refresh, and North Hobart were coming off that big game in the sludge against Lauderdale, but it took them right until the end to get over the line by all reports, and, you know, they've set themselves up nicely now for a big run with a couple of big weeks coming up.
And still, none of these teams, you know, Glenorchy 4th, North Hobart 5th, they're not guaranteed a spot in the finals.
No, look, you've touched on it in one of your articles about the draw that's coming up, and both Lauderdale and North Hobart play the same 2 teams, so it's going to come down to 4:30 PM on the final round, I reckon, and then we'll finally know what's going to happen. But, you know, it's set for an exciting finish, which is good for the league, I think.
And Lauderdale had a 51-point win over South Lonnie, but it just wasn't quite enough to make up the percentage difference. And I was down there at that game, and South Lonnie kicked the last goal of the game. And if they hadn't kicked that, the difference between North Hobart and Lauderdale would have been just 0.1%.
Yeah, look, it's tight, isn't it? And it's funny that, you know, you play the lesser sides, and that's where you really need to get your percentage boost at the moment. And I think the ground was a bit muddy from what I understand, and that may have played a bit of a factor. But Lauderdale now, it's probably going to come down to who loses to the least to Clarence, and who can beat Hobart by more if that's the way the results go, to probably nail down that 5th spot.
And I know you touched on this earlier in the season, but we need to really give some credit to Launceston. They defeated Burnie on the weekend by 44 points. They've only got South Launceston and Devonport to come. They're going to go through the season undefeated. Yeah,
it's a great effort. Clarence couldn't do it last year, of course. You know, whether that's the ideal preparation you want for finals, playing the 2 bottom or 2 of the 3 bottom sides, is yet to be seen, and they'll then have a week off and more than likely get Clarence in that first week. But obviously they're doing all the right things at the moment. They've got a few key players back on the weekend, and I know Burnie kicked pretty poorly. I think it was a 6-18 or something like that, but they did enough to get over the line. And look, yeah, to go through an season undefeated by any, you can't you know, turn your nose up at that. It's a great effort, and they're deserved premiership favourites at the moment.
I know Burnie got beat by 44 points, but like you're saying, they had Wavell kicking. They actually had more scoring shots. Are they not that far off challenging the top 2?
Oh, well, you'd probably have to say no. You know, I think there was a bit of a question mark going in on them about you know, their soft draw, and I think 7 of their 10 wins, if that's what they've got, have come against the bottom 3 sides. So, you know, they've got Glenorchy in the last round, and that'll probably be a true indication of where they're at. They've got to come down south to play that. If they can get over the line there, then maybe they are a genuine challenger.
And Clarence had another win over Hobart. They love thrashing Hobart this week. But just recently we noticed that pretty much every week the best 2 players are Cameron Thurley and Jackson O'Brien. Is there too much reliance on those 2 from Clarence's point of view at the moment?
I don't think so. I think it probably just showed how good they are. I mean, they've you know, the thing about Clarence and why they've been so good in the 3 years of the TSL is because their bottom sort of 6 or 7 players have been better than everybody else's, and that's what you judge a team by. And, you know, yes, they can have a reliance on Thurley at times, but I think the fact of the matter is he's just such a good player that, you know, his good is better than everybody else's great, I think, at the moment. So they've got the mix. Matthew Jury was a big in for them. You know, I think Budgie touched on it, didn't he, before the game, saying that he was their most important player. Thurley was their best, so he straightens them up. You know, he'll be better for the run, and, you know, they're coming, hopefully, we know we'll see them come in, and, you know, their first game, hopefully against Burnie, will be a cracker at Bellerive.
And North Launceston had a fairly comfortable win over Devonport, but certainly wasn't enough. They still remain 1 game and 16% behind the top 5. But it's going to be very unlikely that they're going to play a part in the finals this season.
Yeah, it is. Look, they've got, I think it's Glenorchy this week, and they'll need to win that to have any chance, of course. But, you know, I think even if they do make it, they'll just be making up the numbers. You know, if you can only beat Devonport by 30 odd points, then you're probably not going to challenge the top 5 sides.
And just to finish off with, Adam, we saw on the front page of the paper today the Real Estate Institute of Tasmania throwing up the proposal of selling off North Hobart Oval and making TCA ground the centre for football in the inner city. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's got some merit, I guess. Everybody likes a precinct, I guess, to sort of have the sports. They've got the Domain Athletic Centre up there, they've got the tennis up there, which has been recently renovated, and that'd probably cap it off, wouldn't it? A bit of footy ground that's sort of up to standard. It's the fight between North Hobart and Hobart's going to go on for the next year or so until they sort out all this licence stuff. So it's got a bit of merit there. I mean, you'd have to look at all the pros and cons. North Hobart Oval's, it's got all the heritage, I guess, and you wouldn't want to lose that to an extent, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
I think it comes down to the Hobart City Council. If they're going to do a half-assed renovation on one of the grounds and only do the minimum amount, well, obviously you're going to do that to North Hobart because a better facility is already there. But if they're going to invest heavily, as much as I hate to say it, you probably, due to the tradition of North Hobart, you probably do it at the TCA. There's more room to expand there. There's, like you're saying before, there's the precinct as well as the aquatic centre as well up there.
Yep.
There's room for parking. If you could somehow move the Horry Orange stand up there and keep a bit of both, it's not the worst idea.
No, it's not. Like, as I said, it's, if you could merge, as you said, touch on it, merge both of them a bit together, and it could work. So we'll see how it pans out.
Well done. Thanks very much for your thoughts, and remember, for all your TSL stories, get your copy of the Mercury or go to the Mercury online.